Hi guys, it's here. Step 67 of my review of Tai Lopez's 67 Steps. This is it. Are you ready? Now, if you're like me, you thought, oh my god, this is going to be a big one. It's going to be like some mama step, everything together, explanation, the big enchilada. No, it's just a step. This one is annihilating, I can't even say this word, the amygdala, that's it. Annihilating the amygdala in MPFC mastery. In this episode, if you heard Ty's version, which was an hour long, was recorded live at some kind of Tai Lopez event. And it starts with one of my favorite quotes from the founder of LinkedIn, where he says, if you're not embarrassed of your first product, then you waited to launch too late. I've experienced this. I had a partner who really held on. He wanted it to be perfect. And we kind of missed the market because of that. And this is from the founder of LinkedIn. So, he's probably still a little embarrassed by the product, So, people, the thing you have to remember, and I struggle from this sometimes, I get wrapped up in a little bit, is that your customers, they don't want perfection. They're not seeking perfection. They're seeking to get what they want from you. People will accept bumps and jolts if they get what they want. So, if 5% of the people on your website or in your business don't complain, then you're not doing something right, because, you don't have enough people if you don't have complainers. So don't be afraid of what people say, because fear shouldn't be a driving factor. I've been listening to a lot of these interview podcasts recently, and almost everybody, I'll see successful people, myself included, will say things like, if I responded to everyone's comments, or, if I acted on everyone's comments and input, then I wouldn't be where I am, because you'd be driven all over the place like this. You have to have a strength of your convictions, right? And Tai goes through what he claims is an Aesop fable. I didn't fact check him on this one, about the donkey, and it's the father and the son on their way to town, and the son's on the back of the donkey, and the father's walking, and a couple of people walk by and they go, man, what a crappy son, he's letting his father walk. So they're afraid of, what people think, so they switch. And a little while later, of course, it's, what a crappy father, he's letting his son walk. And so they both walk, and then somebody goes past and said, what a couple of idiots, they got a donkey and nobody's riding it. So, those are the only options, right? Wrong. So they carry the donkey. And as they're crossing the bridge, they all fall into the water, and that's the end of them. So, something like that. So you get the idea. You can't please all the people all the time. Don't even try. Hopefully, you know what you want to do. Of course, you take feedback, from a trusted group of customers, and you understand your market. That's not what we're saying here. We're saying don't be afraid. So that's the kind of outer thing, but you also have these inner fears, swimming upstream, going against what the popular opinion is. It's a very fearful thing. That's kind of an external one, so I don't know. But you have this fear of starving to death. If I don't make the money, I'm not going to be able to afford food, or I'm going to be, unable to sustain my life. Well, it's probably not going to happen if you're in control of your destiny. You're in control of your life. If you have let other people in control of your life, you're probably going to be homeless, because the other person is going to do it to you. But if you're in control, I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think it can happen. Maybe I'm naive. Who knows? So, there's this psychological thing, fear annihilation, And you just do the things that you're afraid of. So right now there's so much fear out there. The media just pumps fear down our throats, and we're afraid of everything. I mean, Tai gives a great example, and people who say, oh, I don't know if I should buy this book or not, maybe it's not worth it. It's just a book, Nobody ended up homeless because they bought too many books, I don't think. Or nobody became homeless because they went to the wrong success conference, Just go. Maybe you'll learn something. Maybe you'll learn one thing, but that one thing might change your life. I don't know. And there's people out there who are going to say, oh, no, people did become homeless by doing that. Well, that gets back to a whole other step in this thing, about, having some kind of safety net. And, people get worried. I get this all the time on this YouTube channel, on these videos. People are saying, oh, Tai Lopez is a scam, and he's just out for your money, though he's, okay, I'm not asking for any money, and he's asking for hardly any money. Tai Lopez is a scam. Well, maybe he is. Maybe, I don't know much about the guy, But the point is that the things that he's saying work for me. They'll probably work for you if you just shut up long enough and listen. If you stop being so afraid that you're listening to the wrong person. Use your common sense. And besides, I mean, Tai doesn't even say much. He always is just kind of curating books and spitting them back at you. He's probably one of your safer bets on this kind of course, or just listen to me. I'm just doing the same thing, or listen to somebody else. I don't care. It's all that's going on. But, who protests at McDonald's? Who protests at Burger King? These people are killing you. Simple. This is the ultimate scam, It's not the media makes you feel afraid, but they make you feel afraid of the wrong thing. It's what you're not afraid of right now that really blows my mind. So, forget about all these fears and things like this. Get out there and you fail. Write a book if you want to write a book. Your first book is going to suck. I've written a lot of movie scripts. The first movie scripts, most of the movie scripts, suck. That's just the way it is. It's called learning. You're not just going to magically, wing, the script is going to come out brilliant the first time. It's never going to happen. And so the best way to get rid of your fear is this thing called exposure therapy. And, exposure therapy is basically you expose yourself to the thing you're afraid of. Tai gives a really good example about the way the Amish train horses, because the Amish, they use horse and buggy and things like this. But of course they live in a modern world and they have to deal with traffic. And it's a very, very dangerous thing if you take a horse out on the road and he's afraid of cars. So what they do is they take the horse to a field that's near a highway or something like this. They tie him up every day there for a couple of hours. And you do that for 30 days straight. And after 30 days, the horse isn't afraid of the sound of traffic anymore, or afraid of traffic anymore. His brain gets rewired, and your brain can get rewired too. Now, that being said, I don't like things like bungee jumping or... I'm not really much of a sports person, certainly not much of an extreme sports person. But that's not really so much of a fear. Well, maybe it is a fear, if I'm honest with myself, but I don't really care. So maybe I should expose myself to that, but I don't really see the upside. So there you go. But but what I was afraid of, doing this, public speaking, meeting people, of course I was afraid of that. Look at me, I'm a software developer. Software developers don't meet people. That's not what we do. So I went far off beast here, I'm sorry, and it's long, and it's the last one, and you're probably like, oh, just end it, it's the 67th step. So, of all these fears, there's really only one fear, I think, and Tai talks about, that's valid, and that's time. It's the only thing you can't get back. You can lose money and get it back. Time, you can't. Be afraid of that. Be afraid of wasting time. So there you go. Don't be afraid of being unhappy, because happiness comes because sometimes you're unhappy. How do you know you're happy if you're never unhappy? you know? And happiness comes through accomplishment, you know, through doing things. Anybody who says that's not true is full of it. I've never met anybody, even, well, not that I met her, but, you know, even Mother Teresa, her happiness came through doing those things, you know? So happiness comes through accomplishments. Get into the flow, you know, and get out there and do it. And there's this other great quote, again, I didn't write down, I don't know what I was thinking these last couple ones, but, you know, the hard is what makes it great. Don't fear the hard. So that's it. Step 67. Thank you for going through all of these with me. I'm going to do a summary step that might be a long one. This has been a bit long. I really appreciate everybody who's left me a comment and everybody who's subscribed. And these videos will be out there in perpetuity, you know. And you can always come back. Some of them are a bit rough, and I think maybe I might record them again. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. I'm not a fan of going back. But I really appreciate everything. And I hope they've been helpful. That's the most important thing. It's been so helpful for me to make these videos, to go through these 67 steps. So I hope you got something out of it. Thanks a lot. There'll be the 67 summary next. But that's it. I did it. Thanks. See ya.